Hi, Jatin. Am I audible?
Yes, Nikhil, you are. Hi,
Yes.
everyone.
Hi. So we have Mr. Jatin here with us, and I was just telling them about all your accomplishments thus far, and of course, I mean we'd like to hear more about your journey and how you came about setting up inspiring Jatin, and the basically the path that you've chosen for yourself, being a solopreneur that you are. We'd like to hear it from you as well a little bit. So please, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Nikhil, for that question. I love this question because it helps me go back to my life and also look at things I've done so far to become inspiring Jatin and how Jatin Gupta became inspiring Jatin. That has been a question for a lot of people, and I share this in my own workshops when I conduct. But this is a platform where all the solopreneurs and the budding entrepreneurs would also get some idea of how I came to this platform. So I am
Right.
actually a corporate professional turned into a life coach. So I have been into corporate for more than 14 years, Nikhil, and though I don't believe in astrology a lot, but I remember in childhood, my parents used to go to these astrologers just to get my this horoscope reading done, and they used to say, your son is going to be an entrepreneur one day. He will be a
Right.
businessman. So that time they didn't know the word entrepreneur, and they would say कि ये कोई business करेगा.
अच्छा.
And और ये now and again काफी बार आया. In fact, when I was working into corporates, they always used to say कि ये business करेगा. और आई थिंक जो एक हमारी सोसाइटी है अभी तो खैर चेंज हो रही है बट जिस जिस और से जिस जनरेशन से मैं हूँ नॉट वेरी ओल्ड दो बट स्टिल वी वर टोल्ड कि बिजनेस है तो मतलब कुछ फैक्ट्री होगी या फिर
हाँ
सेटअप
जी.
होगा उसमें
Right.
कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा तो मेरे लिए बिजनेस का अंडरस्टैंडिंग वो था राइट
Good. Yeah.
लेकिन ऑफकोर्स जर्नी जो यहाँ पे ले आई है 14 साल के कॉर्पोरेट के करियर के बाद आई गॉट इनटू दिस लाइफ कोचिंग एंड now of course when I became a life coach and I do whatever I'm doing now I realize oh this is also business right you
Right.
are an entrepreneur though you're a solopreneur but you're a businessman
Correct.
and
Correct.
that's how I realized actually those predictions were right.
Right.
I became what you call an entrepreneur, a businessman. A quick shortcut, a short journey of how I came here. So, Nikhil, a point came in my life, when my professional life and personal life both were tanking, and I was into corporates then, and then I decided to go for a life coaching workshop myself. So, one of my
Right.
ex-managers had recommended because I was very low in my life at that point in time. In fact, for the very first time in my life, I had felt suicidal in 2019. And but I'm somebody who knew that ending a life is not an option or is not a solution to anything. So
Right.
I attended a life coaching event, 3 days workshop recommended by my ex-manager who was also a life coach. Now, when I went to that workshop, Nikhil, of course, my life changed, hence I'm sitting here in front of you. But along with me, another 200 people, they had tears of joy, they had breakthroughs, they dropped so many things in life and they were so happy. And what I observed in that room was in those 3 days that everybody was blessing the life coach, our life coach who was coaching us. I
Right.
said, what a noble profession. This guy must be feeling so satisfied, so privileged, so happy to be in a space where everybody's blessing him on his face and even off his face when we were discussing about him in the break times and all.
Right.
So
Right.
it was 2019, Nikhil, February. I was in corporates. I did not know how, I did not know when, but I decided I want to do what he is doing. I want
Right.
to transform lives. I want to impact lives. And that is when the journey of Jatin Gupta from Inspiring Jatin began. And as you
Right.
said, as of today, I'm a life transformation coach. In fact, Google features my brand in the best life coach in India category. And
Right.
then, of course, we have Guinness World Records, a winning participant. Then, of course, I've written 4 books. All of them are international best-selling books. And I'm a TEDx speaker, India's first non-fiction book writing coach. So all of
Right.
this has been achieved, and that's how my journey began.
That's lovely. Actually, congratulations on all these achievements. I'm pretty sure, there's a lot more to achieve for you, but congratulations on the achievements thus far. So, I mean, I understand that, you just, as you mentioned, that everything sort of began for you from 2019 and up until, like 2022 now. And even like talking a little bit about our topic specific, like specifically the topic that we've set for today, which is, how small business owners basically can turn every month into a festive season. They needn't necessarily wait for, festive season or a holiday season for that matter. And by that, we actually mean, how it's important for them to take care of themselves, take care of their mental health, of course, their physical being along with it. But my question to you would be, like in a very, it's a very basic question as, a person who you're speaking with right now, that, there's so much that you do and there's so much that you've achieved in a very short span of time. And for somebody who's come from corporate, who didn't really have any prior experience in, being a solopreneur or a businessman for that matter, how exactly do you manage to do everything with most efficiency? Because I'm pretty sure there might have been a few days when things must have been getting a little out of hand, or maybe you might not have complete control over things. So on days like those, and just like a general overarching question to how exactly do you manage everything? I know it's a question which might be, which might have a long answer, but it's a very simple question.
See, I have accepted one part of being a solopreneur, that there will be days where it will get overwhelming. There will be
Right.
days when your day will be out of your control. So
Correct.
all I think, and this is not just being days, I think the initial years of me becoming an entrepreneur, it was not an easy journey. And I have to really say that thanks to COVID
Right.
changed the entire game, because I know a lot of us lost people, friends, families in this COVID, but it also became a boon, especially for the digital industry, Nikhil. I remember when I did my life coaching certification, I was not really into digital world, and nobody was into digital world, especially coach as well as coaching was concerned. And how we took training was to meet clients personally, physically, talk to them face to face, and then go to a conversion model, convert them
Correct.
for your services. And then suddenly COVID happened. And of course, it was a new thing for all of us, for teaching, for education industry, for coaching industry. But then, of course, when the respective industry leaders started exploring how we can make this happen online,
Right.
and I think, of course, in that journey, a lot of us went through a lot of digital marketing programs, learned more about digital marketing. What is digital marketing? So I learned all of that. I upgraded my skills to reach to a level that even if I outsource, I think, Nikhil, you're stuck.
Yeah. Am I audible?
You're audible now, but I guess you got stuck in between. Your video is still stuck, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Just
fine now. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I just have to restart my camera. Right. Sorry.
So, as I said, industry leaders started exploring how this coaching can be done online, and then of course they came up with this Zoom idea, etc. How do we do sessions with clients, convert
Right.
them? But of course, from that journey, I had to invest in myself, Nikhil.
Right.
People, anyways, becoming whether you're in corporate or you're a business person, you have to invest in your development, your skills. Because as I
Correct.
said, I don't come, and genuinely in my entire family, especially my immediate family, my father was not into business, so it didn't come to me in heredity, or it didn't come to me as a विरासत कि मुझे
Right.
आइडिया होगा कि बिजनेस कैसे करना है. तो मेरे लिए बहुत नया था, और ये कोई ऑफलाइन बिजनेस तो था नहीं. सब कुछ
Correct.
ऑनलाइन हो गया, अचानक से सब कुछ चेंज हो गया. So the good part was I adapted myself to change. I think the one thing with everybody has to be okay with when you're becoming an entrepreneur or solopreneur is be open to change. जो हम बचपन
Right.
से सुनते हैं, चेंज इज द ओनली स्टेबल थिंग इन लाइफ, विच इज ट्रू. चेंज तो
100.
होगा ही होगा. सो यू बी ओपन टू चेंज. आई वॉज एक्चुअली ओपन टू चेंज. ठीक है भाई, ऑफलाइन नहीं है, अब ऑनलाइन है. ठीक है.
Hmm.
एंड देन आई ऑफ कोर्स इन्वेस्टेड इनटू माय सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट बाय लर्निंग डिजिटल मार्केटिंग, by learning these online skills. I was not really a technical savvy person earlier.
Right.
So मैंने अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट किया, उसमें सीखा, उसको किया, खुद किया, फेल भी किया. ऑफ कोर्स फेलियर इज अ पार्ट ऑफ एवरी जर्नी. फेल
Right.
भी किया, उसको करते 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 आई रीच्ड अ पॉइंट वेयर आई अंडरस्टूड ऑटोमेशन, आई अंडरस्टूड marketing, I understood closing, I understood
Correct.
how you create needs for people, etc. Because in fact, one recommendation I have for all the budding entrepreneurs and solopreneurs is that even if you want to outsource, a lot of people say, Jatin, I have money, I am okay outsourcing the work that I can do myself to others to save my
Right.
time. It is
Right.
absolutely fine. In fact, eventually to grow, you will have to get into delegation model and outsourcing model. But one of my
Right.
mentors has said, before you delegate or outsource your work to someone else, you excel at it. You
Right.
excel at it so that when you're outsourcing to someone, you are in a position to be able to question, supervise, and not allow the other person to take a right, but get the right output from the other person, from that
Correct.
agency or from that freelancer who's working for you. So
Yeah.
big output, or the what you call the learning from this entire journey of last 2.5 years has been that it's good to outsource definitely if you want to grow and get the extracurricular activities off your platter. Otherwise, it does get overwhelming when you do everything on your own. And I won't lie, there was a time when I used to be control freak. Like I
Correct.
want to do things the way I want it. And when you outsource, there will be always be a difference in the way you want things to be done.
Right.
But to reach that point of outsourcing, first you excel, learn, excel, do it yourself, and then outsource. So that's how I managed to sail through till now. And of course, I'm in the process of more delegation, segregating tasks that I should do and I should not do.
Right. Right. That's wonderfully put, actually. So I actually did have a question about delegation, which you partly did answer, but like a connected question to that would probably be that, when you're a small business owner, or even if you're, you have like a service-based model, you're trying to do something for yourself, and such as yourself, as you're a solopreneur, you probably will have to, do a lot of the things yourself. You probably wouldn't even have people to delegate work to, but let's say you do have people that you can probably take help from. You can get your work outsourced also from them. But one thing that I hear a lot from small business owners is that they struggle with saying no to things, right? Like when people ask them of something, when there is something that is required, even for the business for that matter, if it's directly required for the business, they struggle to say no to it at the cost of maybe their, physical or mental well-being. So in situations like that, like how would you probably recommend from your personal experience that it's okay for you to take a step back and just maybe probably like relax for the time being, and then maybe look at it from a distance and then come up with a solution, instead of just going into everything and just exhausting yourself entirely. So I mean, if my question makes sense to you, is simply put, how can a small business owner learn to say no to a certain to certain things at a very crucial point in their their process of taking care of themselves and also running a business.
See, I think Nikhil, as a solopreneur, or as a small business entrepreneur, you don't really have a choice. When I say choice, you have a choice to say no to a lot of things because it's your own business. You are your own boss. But
Right.
one from my own experience, one problem with small business owners or budding entrepreneurs is we don't want to say no to anything. We want to do
Exactly.
everything on our own. Okay.
Yeah.
And even if we are outsourcing something to someone, we are so obsessed with our perfectionism or our work or our creative mind, a creative idea, that even if we have someone working for us, we don't let them work.
Right.
So rather saying no, you say yes to a lot of things because you are so passionate about getting things done in a perfect manner. And I'll be honest, this has been a hindrance. So
Yeah.
I'm sure people who agree with it with me, they can actually drop yes in the chat box also. That a lot of small business owners, like growing business owners, they are in habit of, if I use the word, poking into everything. They want to do everything on their own, and that's the biggest learning I have had from my last 2.5 years experience. That things that can be easily delegated without any specialization in the other person, or even if your basic instructions can make that thing go or thing work, you should
Correct.
not have those tasks on your platter.
Right.
Because, as I said, we are so obsessed with doing everything for our business, we end up doing those small, and I call them NVA tasks, non-value add tasks, which is not going to add any value to your business. When I say value, means directly there is no value if you do
Right.
that task.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
updating for example, updating an Excel sheet of who joined your course, who did not join the course. though we have amazing automation tools available these days. So automate, and if you don't know how to automate, outsource, but don't get into admin related tasks. And I think majorly what a business owners, a small business owner, rather every business owner needs to work on, in fact I'm doing that now, that focus on tasks which can add direct value to your business, to your clients. For
Right.
example, work, maybe maybe a content, maybe a Instagram live tonight. I want to cover a topic that will help my target audience to get value in their lives. For example, I also do Ho'oponopono live session. That's a healing session. That's a healing modality.
Right.
So I'm doing a 9 day series right now on YouTube, and I'm going live every day doing live chanting with them. So
Okay.
I do these things just to add more value. I'm focusing more on these things, on planning how I can add more value to my target audience, to my clients, to my business, and keeping the and outsourcing the admin side. Most of the admin side I have already outsourced, but of course I'm in the process of outsourcing more. As I said, if we don't get into the mode of outsourcing and letting go of things that you shouldn't do to save your time, you will end up focusing a lot on helping your target audience, adding more value, and that will eventually help you grow, because that is where you will have a visibility with your target audience. अगर आप
Right.
बैक एंड पे ही काम करते रह जाओगे तो फ्रंट एंड पे कब आओगे?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very valid point.
या सो मेरा अभी क्या है ना, अभी लास्ट 2.5 ईयर से अगर मैं अपनी इस समय की जर्नी देखूं, तो मेरी विजिबिलिटी सोशल मीडिया पे, मार्केट के अंदर बड़ी है, क्योंकि मैंने अपनी जो नॉन वैल्यू एडेड टास्क है, एनवीए टास्क जो मैं
Right.
बोलता हूं, उसको मैंने टेक्निकली या तो आउटसोर्स कर दिया है, या फिर उसको मैंने ऑटोमेट कर दिया है.
अच्छा.
ऑफकोर्स
Yeah.
ऑटोमेशन सीखा है मैंने डिजिटल मार्केटिंग कोर्सेज से, खुद किया है, सीख लिया है, तो मुझे उसमें पढ़ना ही नहीं है.
Correct.
That
Yeah.
is why my visibility at the front end on social media, on YouTube, eventually, luckily in last 3 days, my YouTube has grown by 500 subscribers. So
Okay.
that's all because I have started to come front end more than being on the back end.
All right. Yeah, that does actually make a lot of sense. So my question after this probably, would be that like considering you're doing so many things and of course, post delegation also, uh, on a day-to-day basis, what are some things that you do to take care of yourself personally? That, like, of course, the work part is after a point, I think even the work part, you develop a muscle memory to it that, हाँ सुबह उठ करके ये करना है, ये काम होता है, वो meetings होंगी, ये live होगा. So, you get into a rhythm and that sort of takes its own course. But when you focus so much on the work part of your life, you tend to not focus on your personal well-being as much. So are there any conscious things that you do in a day which, as in ki matlab mera, because I have so many back-to-back meetings or lives, this 1 hour in the evening, I'm going to take a break and not look at my phone. I'm not going to read any emails, no Instagram, no YouTube, nothing. I'm just going to cut off and, be by myself. So, I mean, this is something that I do personally, which is why which is how I've said that as an example. But are there some things that probably you do that you could, tell our viewers about? कि आप अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस ऐसी कुछ कुछ चीजें हैं which you could list down that ये तो आपको जरूर करना ही चाहिए to just for your sanity.
See, this is one thing I have been known for. When I was into corporates also, I was known being on emails 24 by 7. So, this is my habit. I'm
Right.
just obsessed with work. Whether it was corporate work or my own work, I just can't resist looking at emails coming in. Or maybe, somebody, because a lot of comments come on YouTube, on my videos,
Right.
people have questions. I want to
Yeah.
respond to them. I want to help them. So,
Right.
चाह के भी फोन एडिक्शन तो दूर नहीं होता, बट आई रियलाइज कि ये फोन एडिक्शन अच्छा है, क्योंकि जो मेरा एडिक्शन है, आई एम नॉट यूजिंग इट फॉर एनी फैंसी स्टफ बट टू हेल्प पीपल. So
Correct.
I,
Yeah.
I would say for your question, the answer will be to each his own. But do I do things that keeps me, this is one time when I just want to get off everything and relax.
Right.
Definitely. और पता है निखिल, जो छोटे entrepreneurs होते हैं, जो बड़ी entrepreneurs होते हैं, हम सबकी लाइफ में ये फेज आता ही आता है, क्योंकि इतना काम होता है, सब कुछ खुद करना है, आउटसोर्स करना नहीं है, इतना अटैचमेंट है हम सबसे, तो आप इतने ओवरवेल्म हो जाते हो ना, एक टाइम आता है आपको लगता है मैं करूँ तो क्या करूँ, देन यू लीव एवरीथिंग, then you start watching TV, then you binge watch because
Yeah.
we avoid that pain. See, Segregating work is a pain.
Right.
And of course, your comfort zone, which is your conscious mind, does not let you take that pain,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because it wants you to be in the comfort zone. तो आप उस काम को इग्नोर करने के लिए you will keep watching TV, you will keep scrolling through Instagram reels, or keep watching some videos on YouTube to avoid that work. So
True.
yes, what I started doing, which really worked for me is, and I used to do this even in my corporate career, which I carried forward in my own business, that prepare a to-do list that a night before the next day. That you know
Okay.
that these things you have to do. कल को कुछ और ऐड होगा, you keep adding to it. But you know
Right.
कि कल मुझे इसके साथ तो एक सेशन करना है, इसके साथ मीटिंग है, इसके साथ मुझे एक लाइव करना है, whatever. You know these tasks are already scheduled for tomorrow. तो वो आप
Right.
अपने एक जो टू डू लिस्ट है वो एक नाइट पहले ही बनाना शुरू कर दो. इट्स अ वेरी गुड हैबिट. आई कॉल इट अ विक्ट्री लॉग. And I'm
Okay.
sharing because I come from life coaching background, so I want to give few tips here that why do I call it a victory log? Your brain needs evidence that you can do things, that you're good at
Okay.
doing things. The
Right.
reason most of us feel disappointed in our career, in our businesses, and feel very demotivated easily is because you're not giving enough evidences to your brain that you
Right.
are doing something for your work. You are doing good. You can do it. For that, your brain requires evidence. How do you give your brain evidences? Is by ticking away those tasks that you have done. Even
Correct.
let's say you had a to-do list of 15 topics or 15 tasks in a day, but you were able to do only 10. People will not look at those 10 things they have actually done, but they will look at, oh my God, I couldn't do 15. You
Right.
have to stop looking at your logs like that. Call it a victory log. Start ticking off things you have done. And it's okay. At times we do have extra things on our plate. Carry that forward to the next day,
Right.
right? But do
Right.
not give evidence to your brain that you are not able to do anything. And that's not true. Even 70% of to-dos done is done. So you need
Right.
to give that evidence to your brain that you are capable of doing it. But how will
Right.
the brain do it? By taking. And that's very true. I'm sure you will also relate to it. When you take away these topics or these to-do tasks, it gives you a feeling of accomplishment. And this, I don't know if you know about this chemical that gets generated in the mind, dopamine. So when you
Dopamine.
actually do something like this where you feel accomplished कि मैंने काम किया है, आपका dopamine generate होता है और dopamine helps you to actually do more in that day. ये
Correct.
क्वेश्चन आई एम श्योर आपके मैंने क्वेश्चंस पहले ही प्रोएक्टिवली आंसर कर रहा हूँ प्रोडक्टिविटी से रिलेटेड भी कि प्रोडक्टिव होने के लिए यू हैव टू टेल योर ब्रेन दैट यू आर केपेबल ऑफ डूइंग इट एंड यू आर डूइंग इट बाय
Right.
not ignoring the 10 tasks you did but acknowledging those 10 tasks that you did. That's how
Correct.
you will be able to give that evidence to the brain that yes, I
Right.
was able, I'm capable of doing it. And you will see eventually you do this for continuous 21 days. Because as I think Robin Sharma said in one of his books that it takes 21 days to build any new habit.
And then
Do
you
this
have.
without fail, do it for 21 days. You will see your productivity going up for sure. Because you are not demoralizing yourself by focusing on the tasks you could not do. But you're going to help your brain understand you are doing it, you can do it. Today, 10 tasks are done. Eventually, you will see all 15, 20 tasks getting completed in a day. So what I personally do, Nikhil, coming back to the original question of what do you do? Do you how do you take that break time for yourself in a day when you feel overwhelmed? See, you
Right.
all have to figure out what do you like,
Yeah.
right? For example, I personally love watching Big Boss. I'm a Big Boss fan. So it's
Right.
my buzz moment. I do like I need to wrap up everything by 9:30 so I can watch Big Boss. So that's my time when I don't want to touch my phone. I want to keep everything aside. I want to focus on that. But that's my moment that gives me happiness,
Yeah.
right?
That's completely. I mean, it's your thing
Exactly.
to do. Yeah.
So that's one moment I've kept for the day that this is like my motivation, dopamine. कि मुझे ये देखने के लिए ये सब खत्म करना है उससे पहले, right?
Right.
Another thing which has really helped me and a lot of us ignore is our physical and mental health.
Right.
I will anyways talk about more about mental health because I'm into that profession and I know the importance of transforming your life, working on your mindset because whatever you do in life, whether a business, job, relationships, career, everything is connected to this brain, into this mind, right?
Correct.
So I think for so many years, I ignored my physical health and I Because of that, I, of course, got a lot of illnesses, a lot of things which I shouldn't have at this age. But now I realize, because I built a habit, I did this gym thing for continuously 21 days. I did not break, and now it has become part of my habit. So I start my day with, of course, little bit of manifestation. I believe in law of attraction, so I do a little bit of manifestation, meditation. I do Ho'oponopono healing for myself. I start my day with manifestation. Then I go to gym, right? So this 2 hours of investment into myself
Right.
makes my whole day very calm, very peaceful, very productive, very sorted. I'm
Correct.
able to decide things faster. I'm able to segregate things faster. I'm able to say no and yes to things faster than before, because I feel very light. And the day I don't do this, if I ever do, which is not happening, touch wood, for a couple of weeks now, but the day I don't follow this ritual, I feel guilty. Oh, I didn't go to the gym today. I should have. Because I know if I don't, anyways, it will put me into regret, and regret is the worst feeling to have in life. So it will put me into regret, and I will keep thinking about it, and then eventually it will impact my day and work.
Correct. Yeah. That's
So,
very
so
true.
this is how I start my day. Then I do my work, I schedule my things, I do my things, and towards the end I have a wrap up, which is Big Boss, and then I try and go for a little walk in my society, and then go off to sleep, and then start the next day.
That's wonderful. I think many people who would probably relate to your approach to work, which is a 24/7 kind of a thing. I think that'll really help them. Of course, as you also mentioned, to each their own. I think everybody would have their own preference of how they want to
Yes.
unwind. But I think the crux of what we were trying to get at is the unwinding bit is important. It's really important. It should also be a part of your schedule for the day. It's not like ideally. I think the people that I speak with, even my colleagues and the people in my industry, even they feel like like sometimes when they're just relaxing, and many of them even love watching Big Boss as well. But they feel like when they're doing that, they're actually wasting time. That they could be accomplishing something else, and they just feel like this time is being whiled away while we're not being productive. But I keep telling them that even though I'm not like a professional or somebody who has a lot of knowledge about mental well-being, but I of course do realize that it is important at this point. So I keep telling them that it's even though it might not be adding a lot of value to your day, you don't understand the importance of it. You the how you're refreshed after doing any said activity that you like doing, which is not work related, should be done. So I think that was basically the crux of what we were trying to
Yeah.
get at. And that's wonderful. I think you had some really good points there. But you briefly touched upon, the importance of mental health, and that was actually going to be my next question to you. If you could, of course, shed some light on that as well. That how important is it for, espe- excuse me, especially small business owners and also solopreneurs, like yourself, that they know that the importance of uh, uh, mental well-being also, and it being connected to their physical well-being as well, because people don't tend to make that connection quite often. They feel like हाँ मतलब mental health के बारे में awareness है अभी, but I don't think they realize how important and how deeply connected it is with their physical well-being as well, and how important it is for them to be fit, to be able to successfully run a sustainable business. So I think if you could probably shed some light on that, our viewers would love to listen to that.
Yeah. See, I think for a very long time, and until this COVID hit us, we most of us were ignorant of the mental health issue, and the importance of maintaining mental health. And in fact, today when I ask my clients, when I have a question in my life coaching session, that how much would you rate your health? So they will say,
Right.
I don't do gymming. So I said, why you only think of gym? Why are you only thinking of physical health? So
Yeah.
mental health still, for a lot of people, it doesn't count as health for them. It is, I
Yeah.
think, for some of them, it's an extracurricular activity. So, because I come from the mindset coaching background, and I know the importance of having the right mental health to be physically active and to be able to do a lot in your life is very important. See, there are a lot of
Correct.
modalities. I'm not going to touch on how people can improve their mental health. There's so many things. Few people think meditation help them. For few people, life coaching clients come to me, get their life coaching done. They do a complete transformation. A lot of people get healing done because they feel there's a lot of backlog in their mind inside them. So, or a combo of everything,
Correct.
right? So, if you do not take care of mental health, and I'm not sure if people are aware or not, these diabetes and these blood pressure issues or these whatever issues, they are primarily the reasons for them is overthinking, stress, anxiety. ये तो साइंस ने भी बोला है, राइट?
Right.
तो जितना आपका मेंटल हेल्थ, देखो आपका मेंटल हेल्थ सही नहीं है, इसका मतलब आप बहुत ओवर थिंकिंग करते हो. ओवर थिंकिंग विल लीड टू स्ट्रेस, स्ट्रेस विल लीड टू एंग्जाइटी, एंग्जाइटी विल लीड टू डिप्रेशन. तो ये
Right.
सब क्या है? ये नेगेटिव थॉट्स हैं जो आपके मेंटल हेल्थ को इम्पैक्ट करते हैं. जब आप यहाँ पे ही सॉर्टेड नहीं हो तो आप क्या ही डिसीजंस लोगे बिजनेस के लिए? आप क्या
Correct.
स्ट्रैटेजीज ड्राफ्ट करोगे? अभी क्या है, when somebody talks to me very clear about what I want to do in my business, but that clarity only comes from clarity from here. When I say here, the mental health,
Yeah.
right? So like,
Yeah.
so since why do I just shared, I start my day with healing. So Ho'oponopono is one modality I teach, I practice, and on YouTube I do a lot of Ho'oponopono live chanting. Ho'oponopono cleanses all the negative emotions that you're not even aware of, which are running your life right now. So you
Right.
are just cleansing that. And when I start my day with that, Nikhil, I start with like a blank space.
Right.
There is no backlog from the last day. This couldn't happen. कल ये नहीं हो पाया. Shit, man. 5 साल पहले ये हुआ था तो ये नहीं होगा. तो it just helps you cleanse all the negative beliefs about life, about money, about health, about career, about relationships.
Right.
So
Right.
healing, cleansing, this all takes care of your mental health. So without mental health, I can bet my life on it, my business on it, that you cannot grow in any area of your life if you're not mentally fit,
True.
when you don't take care of this part of you,
Right.
right? So there are four very, like, I don't, have you ever played a guitar, Nikhil? Have you ever played or seen a guitar, right? So
Yeah.
guitar has generally 6 strings, right? So if any string is broken, guitar will
Right.
produce noise, not music.
Correct.
Similarly, life has 4 guitars, 4 strings to the guitar called life, which
Right.
is health, relationships, career, and money. Now, from the analogy of guitar, if any of the string is broken, your life will continue to produce noise, not music.
That's beautifully put.
So these 4 strings, you leave other strings, you take care of 4, your life is going to only produce music. So, and when I say relationship, the moment in a relationship, people only think of romantic relationship. No.
Yeah.
One thing I want to tell all the solopreneurs here, have the best relationship with yourself first. Because if you cannot have good relation with yourself, how do you expect clients to have a good relationship with you? How do you expect followers to love you, to like you? Or how do you expect your romantic partner to love you or like you? This might sound cliche, but this is the foundation of building your relationships with anyone else.
True.
I do. So whatever I told you, right? You were asking about what do you think to unwind yourself. I actually on weekends, because my weekends are very, very busy, Nikhil, and you've been witness to that. I hardly get time to talk, especially for
Correct.
digital coaching. Saturday, Sundays are very busy days because now COVID is over. Everybody's working from office. They return home and then they attend your sessions.
Right.
So in that case, it gets too overwhelming because वो पूरे हफ्ते का काम ये 2 दिन 3 दिन पे आ जाता है. So I ensure I watch a movie alone every Saturday. I go out for a movie. Even if the movie is bad, I still go out. I just want to sit in theater, recline, have popcorn, Pepsi, have my time.
Yeah.
Right? So that's like few unwind. I do things that I like to do without caring what others think about me. हाँ ये अकेला जाता है, हाँ जी मैं अकेला चाहता हूँ. इसको किसी से मतलब नहीं है, हाँ नहीं है मुझे मतलब, मुझे अपने से पहले मतलब है. Simple. I have good friends in life and I hang out with them and I want to, and if I don't want to, I hang out with myself. And today I plan
Yeah.
after this session, after I do my session at 9 o'clock, I may want to go out for a drive alone. That's my way of unwinding this entire day. Right? So this is all
Yeah.
contributing to better mental health. Because I will not feel stressed, overwhelmed with the work I've done the whole day.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? So these mental health is the foundation if you want to grow in life, guys. It's high time we don't ignore the mental health. And जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि जो नेगेटिव इमोशंस होते हैं ये आपकी फिजिकल हेल्थ को भी इम्पैक्ट करना शुरू करते हैं. डायबिटीज और ये कोलेस्ट्रॉल दिस ब्लड प्रेशर, आप ऑनलाइन पढ़ लो, साइंस ने प्रूव किया है कि ये आपके नेगेटिव इमोशन से ही जनरेट होते हैं। तो अगर आप
Right.
एक तीन से दो निशाने मारने हैं तो स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन योर मेंटल हेल्थ। और लेकिन इफ आई हैव टू शेयर विद एवरीबॉडी, मैं सच बता रहा हूं, मैं जिम, ऐसा कभी टाइम नहीं आया कि मैं जिम 7 दिन से ज्यादा कभी जा पाया था। पर बिकॉज मैं मेंटली मैंने अपनी हेल्थ को इतना स्टेबल कर लिया या उसको फ्लरिश कर रहा हूं कि वो मुझे रोकता ही नहीं है। इट पुशेस मी टू गो टू द जिम एवरी डे। But that was
Right.
only possible. I became an action taker even for my health just because I was mentally fit and I am mentally fit. And I'm flourishing my mental health day on day by cleansing, meditations, or whatever coachings I do for myself, self investment. These are important aspects to grow in life. Just running behind money and customers is not going to get you that.
Right.
Simple.
I think there are some really valid points in there, and especially for small business owners, क्योंकि I think because I interact with so many small business owners, one thing जो सबसे ज्यादा उभर करके आती है from the conversations is that they are they're anxious 24/7. उनका anxiety level almost हमेशा ही high रहता है because they always have some kind of firefighting to do. कि मतलब
Yeah.
नया कोई product launch करना है, और कोई मार्केटिंग स्ट्रैटेजी है जिसको एग्जीक्यूट करना है, जिसमें कहीं कुछ अड़चन आ रही है. सो like especially for a small business owner and a solopreneur, because they're handling so many things, doing so many jobs that that they all have to do it, they do it themselves. So I think you briefly also touched upon that. Actually, not briefly, you did speak about that at length. But there's another thing that I would probably want to, if we could retouch that topic a little bit, is that from my conversations that I've had with, the small business owners, they tend to focus a little bit more on the negatives, because that happens with them, and I think it's a very natural thing. It's a very
Mhm.
human thing to do. You always tend to like generally you tend to look at things that हाँ, you know what, ये नहीं हो पाया, मुझे वो करना था but वो भी नहीं हो पाया, and I spent so much money, or I spent so much time and energy on a
Yeah.
particular thing, but it didn't give me the kind of results that I was looking for. But I think what they miss out on is, like, let's say if seven things are not happening, and out of 10 there are three things that are happening, which will actually give them the motivation and the affirmation that they require to go on further,
Yeah.
and change the other seven to probably a five, or like even a seven. Like, probably all the 10 things will be achieved if they bring their focus to the three things that are happening, which are really good, which earlier probably weren't happening. But because the seven things that aren't happening, वो इतना focus ले जाते हैं कि वो तीन चीजों पे ध्यान नहीं जाता है. So, is there a hack, or is there a way to sort of approach these things? And, from your personal experience, if you could tell us as to how they could view, their achievements and the things that they haven't achieved yet. उन चीजों को वो कैसे ध्यान में रख करके, how can they approach that? Is there a hack that you have, or is there a just like an approach that you take to life, which will, give them the positive reaffirmation that they
Hmm.
require?
See, Nikhil, the biggest thing, from my own experience, I'm saying that, for small entrepreneurs, the biggest problem is they want to enter a field where people are flourishing. जो उनको लग रहा है ये
Right.
ग्रोइंग है, सब उसमें जाना चाहते हैं। अब डिजिटल मार्केटिंग कोविड के बाद इतना बूम हुआ कि सबको डिजिटल मार्केटिंग सीखना है, सबको डिजिटल मार्केटिंग करना है।
जी.
एंड दैट, उनको वो, बिकॉज इनसाइड दैट्स नॉट एन इनसाइड कॉल। और ये हम सुनते आ रहे हैं, पर बिकॉज मैं उस चीज से निकला हूं निखिल, मैंने कुछ टाइम तक, जैसे होपोनोपोनो की ही बात, मैं अपना एग्जांपल देता हूं। मैंने
हाँ जी.
होपोनोपोनो, बिकॉज एवरीबडी वाज लर्निंग होपोनोपोनो, सो मैंने कहा चलो सीख लेते हैं। अब मुझे था कि अरे हमारे होपोनोपोनो से मुझे भी ये करना है, मुझे भी कमाना है। तो स्मॉल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स का जो माइंडसेट होता है वो सिर्फ पैसा होता है, विच इज नॉट
Right.
अ बैड, बट ये हमें किसी ने, बिकॉज एजुकेशन सिस्टम ने कभी हमें सिखाया ही नहीं ना कि बिजनेसमैन बनना कैसे है,
हाँ
बिजनेस
जी.
माइंडसेट होना चाहिए। और ये बहुत क्लीशे साउंड करेगा, बट ये सच है। किसी भी प्रोफेशन में अगर आप सिर्फ अपना ही सोच रहे हो, पैसा पैसा पैसा, आप नोट करोगे वो पैसा और ही भागने वाला है आपसे। क्योंकि जहां आपका इनर कॉल ये नहीं ना कि मेरे एंड कस्टमर को हाउ कैन आई ऐड मोर एंड मोर वैल्यू, वो
Right.
आपका वो पूरा दिन इर्द गिर्द में घूम जाएगा, यार मैं कैसे कमाऊं। वो 10 लाख दिन का कमा रहा है, उसके वेबिनार में 100 क्लोजर्स होते हैं, मेरे में क्यों नहीं होते हैं? क्योंकि आपका
हाँ जी।
फोकस मनी है, आपका फोकस वैल्यू एडिशन नहीं है। और मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बोलता हूँ, मैंने जब ये फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई टोल्ड यू आई एम अ बुक राइटिंग कोच, राइट? सो मैंने ये
हाँ,
2021 में स्टार्ट किया था, क्योंकि उस समय मेरे लाइफ में एक मेंटोर, अच्छे मेंटोर्स नहीं थे, अच्छे कोचेस नहीं थे जो मुझे ये ज्ञान दे सकते। तो लेकिन मेरा हर वेबिनार में ना बेचने का फोकस होता था कि मेरा प्रोग्राम कोई खरीद ले, खरीदो मेरा प्रोग्राम, बिकॉज मेरी जॉब चली गई थी, प्रोफेसर यही था अर्निंग सोर्स।
करेक्ट।
एंड बिलीव यू मी, मतलब इट wasn't एज रिवॉर्डिंग एज इट शुड हैव बीन, जितना और लोगों ने कोविड में कमाया है डिजिटल वेबिनार्स के थ्रू। मेरा वो फेज मैंने नहीं टेस्ट किया वो फेज। And when I realized later, when I, of course, got into the right mindset, right coaching, right mentors, that I was focusing on money. Whereas in my profession, I need to focus on giving contribution, adding value to people's life. चाहे वो 100
करेक्ट।
रुपए का वेबिनार हो, चाहे वो फ्री वेबिनार हो।
राइट।
और आज मैं बोलता हूँ, इनफैक्ट मेरे संडेज को वेबिनार्स वर्कशॉप्स क्लोज होते हैं। लेकिन मैंने कभी सोचा भी नहीं था कि मेरे इस प्रोफेशन में, जहां मैं लोगों को बुक लिखना सिखा रहा हूँ, बिकॉज मोस्टली एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को ब्रांडिंग की प्रॉब्लम होती है, मार्केटिंग का प्रॉब्लम होता है, और बुक इज द बिगेस्ट ब्रांडिंग एंड मार्केटिंग टूल राइट नाउ। एंड आई हेल्प पीपल टू राइट द नॉन फिक्शन बुक्स अराउंड their business. When I'm doing this work, the kind of blessings I get every week was not expected. लाइफ कोचिंग में एक्सपेक्टेड था कि मैं उनकी लाइफ चेंज कर रहा हूं तो मुझे दुआएं मिलेंगी, ब्लेसिंग्स मिलेंगी। बट किसी को बुक लिखवाना, उनकी बुक्स को छपवाना या पब्लिश कराना, ऑथर बनाना किसी का सपना होता है। तो मेरा
राइट।
फोकस होता है वेबिनार में, चाहे 10 लोग आए चाहे 100 लोग आए, जतिन, यू विल नॉट रिड्यूस द वैल्यू, you
राइट।
need to give 10 times value than the money they have paid. So that's the first hack. That's change your mindset, bring it towards value addition, not
राइट।
money. Guys, believe me, as I'm thinking, most of us are into a profession where we have to give to the other person, to our client, to our customers, right? Because contribution is the biggest need of every human being. और अगर आप
राइट।
मेरे जैसे प्रोफेशन में, आप कोच हैं, आप हीलर हैं, जो भी हैं आप, जहां पे आपको दूसरे एंड पार्टी को या आपके टारगेट ऑडियंस की लाइफ में वैल्यू ऐड करना है, तो कंट्रीब्यूशन आपके लिए और इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। पर देखो, प्रोफेशन कंट्रीब्यूशन का है, माइंडसेट पैसे का है, तो दोनों कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट कर रहा है।
हाँ
एंड
जी।
कंट्रीब्यूशन पे जहां फोकस जाएगा, आई एम टेलिंग यू, money is just a byproduct. I'm sharing from my personal experience. You will not even believe how easily you will be able to close your sales, how easily you will be able to interact with your clients. वो एकदम naturally निकलेगा। लोग आपसे पूछेंगे, how do you do this? How do you do flawlessly sell things and don't even sound it's selling? राइट? जैसे कि हमने टॉपिक डिस्कस किया था, ये टॉपिक है कि फेस्टिव सीजन में क्या होता है निखिल, लोग अपनी लिस्ट, टू डू लिस्ट बनाते हैं कि हम ना फेस्टिवल में ये खरीदेंगे, वो
जी।
उनकी नीड होती है, बट वो वेट करते हैं फेस्टिवल के लिए। और फिर क्या होता है, आपने देखा होगा सेल लगती है हर जगह पे फेस्टिवल पे, तो जो
जी।
नहीं भी नीड होती वो भी खरीद लेते हैं,
करेक्ट।
राइट? Now, what those companies do by creating this offer, this and that, they of course they target on their needs and they allure them and then they create need.
राइट।
तो मेरा कहना ये स्मॉल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए ये है कि क्रिएट योर प्रोडक्ट और योर ऑफर और सर्विस in a way, or presented in a way that it doesn't sound a proposal but becomes a need for your customer to buy it. Now
राइट।
बुक सब लिखना चाहते हैं पर सब लिख तो नहीं रहे हैं।
करेक्ट।
What is the need? You have to create. Now why should, सब कह रहे हैं शुरू से कि स्मॉल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को बुक लिखनी चाहिए,
जी।
सबको पता भी है लिखनी चाहिए, पर क्यों लिखनी चाहिए वो नहीं पता है। तो जब तक आप उसकी नीड क्रिएट नहीं करोगे, नाउ दैट टुडे व्हेन आई शेयर विद माय एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, कोचेस हु जॉइन माय बुक राइटिंग वर्कशॉप्स, दैट गाइस, these are the reasons why you must publish a book in 30 days. You want to get high ticket clients? Books. You want to do marketing for your work? Books. You want to build subject matter expert? Book around your profession.
करेक्ट।
Now they realize, oh yeah, I was missing. Why should I write the book? Now that they have this need of growing their business through a book, they do it with me. They publish it. Now book creation, देखो ऐसी चीज, book publishing is something not will come naturally to people. But touch wood, I am able to attract people to my workshops. I'm able to do conversions in my workshops. Why? Because I'm creating. They all have a need, but I'm
राइट।
helping them identify their need.
करेक्ट।
And
True.
the business comes naturally. You don't have to run behind it. So, what was the
Correct.
number one hack? Change your mindset from desperation of getting money to contribution. So, first
Correct.
hack, desperation cross, contribution tick. Yes. Work on the contribution mindset and you will see things falling in place for you. Because when you work towards contribution, you also have a feeling of satisfaction. चाहे दस
Correct.
पंद्रह में से मेरी आज भी बहुत चीजें नहीं होती है दिन में मेरे बहुत दिन जाते हैं निखिल जो अनप्रोडक्टिव होते हैं पर मुझे ना उसके रिग्रेट नहीं होता क्योंकि उस अनप्रोडक्टिव डे में भी ना मैंने कुछ जरूर ऐसा किया होता है जब मैंने कंट्रीब्यूशन किया होता है और वो हर ह्यूमन बीइंग की सबसे बड़ी नीड है
Right.
कंट्रीब्यूशन
Correct.
जैसे हम लोग दान करते हैं किसी गरीब को खाना खिलाते हैं हमें बहुत सुकून महसूस होता है उसका रीजन किसी को पता नहीं है उसका रीजन यही है आपकी सबसे बड़ी नीड कंट्रीब्यूशन मीट करती है इससे आपका
Correct.
कहते हैं ना कभी भी बुरा मूड हो किसी की हेल्प कर दो यू विल चेंज योर मूड इंस्टेंटली बिकॉज द बिगेस्ट नीड ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग इज कंट्रीब्यूशन and when you bring that need in your business and start thinking from this standpoint for your end customer for your target audience you will get off this rut of running behind money running behind growth running behind numbers वो
Correct.
naturally आएगा और ये मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बोल रहा हूँ पहले मैं ज्ञान सुनता था जैसे आज हमें लोग सुन रहे हैं मैं लोगों को सुनता था और बोलते यार क्या बोल रहा है ऐसे नहीं होता यार मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ मैं उस स्टेज में हूं आज जहां मेरा माइंडसेट मनी 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 नहीं है कंट्रीब्यूशन 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 है और इसीलिए सुकून की नींद सोता हूँ रोज रात को अगर 10 में से 5 टास्क या 10 में से 10 टास्क भी नहीं होते कोई बात नहीं किसी की लाइफ में तो इम्पैक्ट किया है दैट्स मोर इम्पोर्टेंट
I think that's absolutely lovely. I really, really hope that people who are watching right now and also when they watch this later, I really hope कि वो notes लेकर के बैठे और ये सब note down करके probably अपने desk के वहाँ जहाँ पे वो रोज काम करते हैं उसको लगा करके वो देखते रहें so that it serves as a constant reminder to them because it's a lovely way to approach anything that you're doing in life for that matter, not just your business, because you've come here and you're trying to at the end of the day make a good story of your life हम अपनी एक कहानी ही जी रहे हैं तो हम we want to make the best story for ourselves so
Exactly.
whatever you're doing going along the way is it might be for people through your business it might be for your family or for yourself also but you should always think about just adding more value and doing like making contributions uh, yeah, unfortunately, I think that brings us sort of to the end of this session. I mean, if I had my way, I would have, made you sit for longer and spoken to you even, for hours together. But I know that you have a really busy schedule and you have other things to get to. But I'd really love to thank you for, taking time out today and talking to us about this very, very special topic that, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session as well, कि ज्यादा लोग बात नहीं करते हैं इस बारे में especially when it comes to the small business or the e-commerce zone of it but this was something that I personally feel that we definitely should talk about more often so I would just want to ask you if you have any closing thoughts that you'd want to share or you'd want to talk about then please.
Absolutely. See, one closing thought for all these small, or not just small, all the entrepreneurs right now, especially solopreneurs, guys, write a book. Okay. Book is actually playing a very, very key role right now at this point in time in building your credibility as a solopreneur, as a brand, as a professional in the market. It builds authority for you because there's so much of competition in almost every business right now. If you really want to stand out from that competition, you got to stand out as a subject matter expert. And a book helps you to build your credibility as a subject matter expert. I'll give you a simple example. सबसे ये question है, right? कि अगर आपको कोई डॉक्टर सर्च करना है, God forbid you have to search for a doctor, let's say eye surgeon near you. When you go to Google and type eye surgeon near you and you find many eye surgeons, one is with a book and another ones are not with a book. Genuinely speaking, which surgeon would you like to click on to know more about? You will always click on the one who has a book on eyes.
That's
because
true.
as human beings, we all want experts in our life. We want the best in our life. So when as a consumer, you want the best, and just by writing a book, you can be perceived as the best. So why not work towards that for your customers? Remember, as a customer, if you will not go for a middle class or middle level kind of service or product, not your customers would. Why would
Right.
you not stand out, come out as an authority for them, build your brand through a book? How to write, edit, publish? I'm an expert in that. You can, of course, follow me on Instagram, register for my weekend workshop, which happens every Friday, and experience how book writing can be so simple. Just to share with everyone, Nikhil, I'm just a BCom pass from Delhi University, and that too correspondence. I failed 1 year in graduation. तो कई लोग सोच रहे हो कि मैंने बड़ी PhD कर रखी है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, right? In fact, in school I used to struggle to write English essays. अगर मुझे वो essay के अलावा कुछ लिखना पड़ जाता ना, मेरे को सोचना पड़ता था. If that guy can win an award for his first book as a non-fiction author of the year, somebody who struggled to write an essay, so can you write the book and become a best-selling author, right? That is why I'm doing this coaching for books, so that it becomes a very easy task for everybody. And
Right.
second, no, rather three. Second is move away from desperation to contribution.
Correct.
Desperation of getting business, getting money, getting work. नहीं होगा, लगे रहो नहीं होगा. But the day you change your mindset to contribute to your end customer in any way, believe you me, universe will become your partner to help you grow on your
Right.
own. It will just
Right.
open opportunities for you. And last but not the least, mental health. You cannot ignore mental health. You choose what you want to do. You want to do meditation, you want to do healing. That is your choice. That I leave it up to you. There are many modalities available for improving your mental health. But don't ignore this. It will take you far in life.
Right.
If you want to have a peaceful sleep every night and I have no regrets, work on your mental health. These are the only three closing tips I have for everybody who's watching us now or later.
Thank you so much, Jatin. Those were some wonderful tips. And I honestly, as I said earlier, also, whenever people watch this, people who are watching us right now and also later, I really hope that, people take notes because I definitely have learned a lot today. I feel like uh, there are so many things that I can do better in my life just from this 1 hour session. So I would definitely encourage everybody who's watching this to go check out Inspiring Jatin, their Instagram profile, and also their website. And thank you so much, Jatin, again for talking to us. And anybody who's online right now, thank you so much for staying with us for this long thus far. And yes, have a good evening. And hopefully, Jatin, we get to collaborate again soon. And I'll be speaking with him.
Sure.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.